The mid-2000s brought a wave of development to the internet. The online world was expanding and people were taking advantage of the opportunity. Elvin Hung, a Columbia University student studying computer programming, decided to shoot his shot in this expanding market. He sought to create software in which anyone could create their own animations with ease. In 2008, he released the first version of his platform and he called it GoAnimate. Everything was going great at first. The website was becoming increasingly popular, with more and more traffic coming in every day. They even managed to collaborate with Cartoon Network in 2009, less than a year after their initial launch. Things were going smooth, and the future was looking bright, but the fate of GoAnimate was much dimmer. While Elvin's intentions were pure, he had given the ability to animate to the public, and they were free to create whatever they wanted. It would only be a matter of time until everything fell apart, and GoAnimate would shut down forever. When GoAnimate began in 2008, it was released with animation themes such as cartoon classics. Later on, more cartoon themes were implemented, including Comedy World, likely the most iconic theme that comes from GoAnimate. Over time, the community grew. It ended up consisting of either children or mentally challenged adults. And this is not an insult, it's an undeniable truth. You may have interacted with one of these users before. They bleed a lot into other online communities. It's actually really easy to identify a GoAnimate user. All you have to do is simply look at their username. Whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, they all tend to use the same formats for their names. I'll show you a few examples. This name can be split into 3 sections. First is the user's name, then the user's interest. This could be anything, but it's usually a movie, TV show, or brand that they like. Lastly is the word guy, which can be used interchangeably with fan, fanatic, or lover. Oftentimes, they'll put their birth year at the end of their name as well. Here's another example. This is called a for the win, for the loss name. It can be split into 2 sections. First is something the user enjoys, followed by for the win, and then something the user dislikes, followed by for the loss. This is a very common username that immediately identifies a GoAnimate user. This example is similar to the last. It's called a yes-no name. Just as before, first is something the user enjoys followed by yes, and then something the user dislikes followed by no. The most classic example of this is Hamudia Jom's YouTube username, VHS, DVDs, and CDs yes, bad words no. By the way, if you were to have this in reverse order so that no comes first, it actually really pisses users off. Sometimes their names are a bit more discreet, like they'll just have their first and last name followed by their birth year, but you can't identify a GoAnimate user based on that. A lot of people use that format as their username. If you run into this situation, it's no big deal because you only need to see one sentence from them to tell if it's a Go kid or not. They have terrible grammar, some of their sentences are just completely unreadable, and they always capitalize the first letter of every word, just like this. Not to mention how they talk in real life. The way they carry themselves makes it very clear that they're GoAnimate users.
What are you doing on my computer?
I just wanted to see what was on the other side of this computer, so now that I'm here, I'm going to make you my slave.
Well, I guess there's only one way to deal with this.
Wait a minute, what are you doing? Ow, 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 you're hurting me.
In you go.
Go kids come to GoAnimate for a reason. They've been ostracized from real-life friend groups, so they search for a community elsewhere. Not only do they find a community in GoAnimate, but they find their own clan as well. When you see a username from a Go kid, it might have some random letters at the end of their name. These are called alphabet groups. Alphabet groups are a way for users to create their own community within a community. Anyone can make one. You just have to come up with a group name, turn it into an acronym, and put that at the end of your username. Some of these groups have gained enough members to become pretty influential, although they don't usually put their power and influence to good use. Let's go through some of these groups together. FVOPD, the Fake VHS Opening Police Department. This group began after a user named Warren Cook created the first fake VHS opening. You may ask, how do you fake a VHS opening? Well, it's simple. All you have to do is lie about information regarding a particular VHS. For example, Toy Story came out on VHS in 1996, but in a fake VHS opening, a user would say that it came out in 1997. Yeah, that's all it is. Apparently this was a big enough issue that users decided they needed a whole police department to fight against it. YFGA, the YouTube Farm Gang Army. This group often targets big YouTubers and attempts to expose them, their biggest target being the YouTuber DJ Cook. Obviously, there's nothing to expose these YouTubers for, so they kinda just make things up. TPNG, Troll Punisher Ninja Gear. This group considers themselves an anti-troll organization who defend innocent people and punish bad users. However, those outside of this group view them as hypocrites who are just as bad as the people they are fighting against. KKTK, the Ku Klux Trolling Clan. I was just as surprised as you are to learn about this one. These guys are your typical edgy group of kids who troll vulnerable people online. Most within the community consider the KKTK bad users and refuse to associate with them. THDTC, the Hellfire Demon Trolling Corporation. This is an ally to the KKTK. Again, they're considered bad users and few people associate with them. VGCP, the Video Game Cartoon Police, a group created in 2012 to fight against trolls. While they were generally regarded as a good group at first, they slowly became exactly what they were fighting against. They were accused of bullying, trolling, and threatening people. This ultimately led to their downfall. There was a revival of the VGCP in 2023 after a user named Hoodbros took over as their leader. Nowadays they operate on Discord, spending most of their time raiding other Discord servers for seemingly no reason. EDCP and NDCP, the Everyday Cartoon Police and the Night Day Cartoon Police. These groups can be thought of as subsections of the VGCP. They were originally created to stop the VGCP from starting wars, but they eventually deteriorated into exactly what they were fighting against. They are effectively the same as the VGCP. One thing to note is that if you see an A in front of any of these groups, that usually means anti-VGCP, anti-KKTK. This just means you're against that organization. UTTP, the YouTube Troll Police. All of these groups would not exist without the creation of the YouTube Troll Police. The UTTP was the first alphabet group ever created. It was established in 2011 by a man named Tommy Parkey. Tommy is a godlike figure to UTTP members despite being dethroned as their leader sometime around 2016. The original purpose of the UTTP was to fight against trolls, but much like other alphabet groups, they eventually turned into what they were fighting against. They've had dozens of notable wars with other communities, but they have a particular hatred for fandoms. They continue to operate to this day, but after several of their Discord servers were terminated, they're much less active than they used to be. Okay, so at this point this video is done. It is completely edited, but I had to come back and talk about a recently formed alphabet group called the TATPCTF, or the The Perfect Citizen Task Force. There is now an alphabet group that has formed in opposition to me. Of course, it's led by our favorite jester, Dark Warrior. Now, if you guys don't know the Discord lore, I highly suggest joining the Discord server because this guy is my #1 enemy. You know what, I don't even want to say enemy because I actually like the guy. He's more of my #1 hater. Hater is a better word, yeah. So Dark Warrior has formed this alphabet group. He's made angry message videos out of me. He really just hates my guts. I'm not really sure what his problem is, but it was definitely worth mentioning this alphabet group because it's honestly just hilarious. Good luck with whatever your plans are, Dark Warrior. The one common factor among GoAnimate users is that they lack creativity. I don't think there's been an original GoAnimate video since 2011. Let's go through some of the most prominent video styles together. OS videos are a type of video where the user accidentally downloads a virus that hacks their computer and forcefully downloads a character-themed operating system. Dora OS, Barney OS, and even Justin Bieber OS are all fictional operating systems that users have used in videos. Once the OS is installed, the user is greeted by its respective character, who torments the user until they somehow figure out how to uninstall the OS. After which, the original operating system is reinstalled and the video ends happily ever after. This is pretty straightforward. It's your average YouTube rant, but with GoAnimate visuals and text-to-speech for audio. Users tend to rant on other users that they deem to be bad, or sometimes movies that they don't like. It doesn't matter what they rant on, they all follow the exact same format. I'll show you an example.
Hey guys, this is my first rant, and today we're making a rant about T-Series. T-Series? More like T-Gay. Oh my god, this user sucks. This user is kinda like Stupid India's largest video. T-Series is lying about his subscribers. Well, I wish this user got terminated. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this rant video. Now thanks for watching.
Behavior card videos begin with the teacher standing in front of a chalkboard. The teacher explains that each student will be receiving a colored card that represents either a reward or a punishment. For example, a green card could mean that the student doesn't have to go to school for a week, whereas a red card could mean that the student has detention for 6 months. The meaning of each card will vary from video to video, but the one card that remains consistent is the black card. This is what they call dead meat, which means the student gets expelled. It's usually the last card to be given out and signifies the end of the video. You might not believe it, but some users actually make full-on movies using GoAnimate. The most popular one is titled GoAnimate the Movie. It is 1 hour and 39 minutes long. And to be honest, there was no way I was going to sit through that much GoAnimate, so I have no idea what the movie's about. But this is what was written about it on its ED page. A totally legitimate movie made in 2013 to prove that you really can make a movie about anything. It's about as necessary as cancer and twice as painful to sit through. Before I continue, it's worth mentioning some of GoAnimate's recurring characters. The most popular one is Caillou, the main character from the children's TV show of the same name. Alongside Caillou came his sister Rosie, his mother Doris, and his father Boris. Boris was usually the antagonist of GoAnimate videos, as he repeatedly had arguments with Caillou. There was also Boris the Teeth Guy, who was an angry version of Boris, but with a big mouth and red skin. There was Childish Dad, who cries if things don't go his way. Dora is a very common character to see as well. She's often used in place of Caillou. But since Caillou was the most popular character, people began making variants of him. For example, there's Classic Caillou, who is often used in place of Caillou. There's Dayu and Bayu, who are basically just reskinned versions of Caillou. There's Borlu, who's Boris and Caillou mixed together. There's Gaylu, which is a version of Caillou for people who were too lazy to make the original Caillou. There's Chayu, the female version of Caillou. There's Kairu, Caillou's adopted Asian brother. There's Evil Caillou, a common antagonist in GoAnimate videos. And finally, there's Yuliak, which is a rare humanoid species mutated from Caillou. Videos containing Yuliak are just complete chaos. There are no rules, and there is no storyline. The animation is purposely crazy, and the text-to-speech is gibberish. But this is all part of the Yuliak aesthetic. Yuliak's favorite food is strawberry shit cake, which also happens to be his catchphrase.
Alyak and the 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 I need plasticine surgery. Strawberry shit cake. Poopy everywhere. Poopy in my underwear. Poopy here at strawberry shit cake.
Now, there's one type of video that I haven't mentioned yet. It easily makes up 90% of GoAnimate videos. It could also be considered the reason for GoAnimate's popularity. Of course, I am talking about grounded videos. Grounded videos are a type of video where someone gets grounded for their actions. Users will often ground an online enemy of theirs, but most of the time, they ground Caillou. The first grounded video was posted in April of 2011. It was created by Poseidon God of War 20 Productions and was titled Diaper Grounding. In July of 2011, another user named Adam Klein Schmidt 2003 helped popularize grounded videos after he posted Brian Gets in Trouble at School. It wasn't until a user by the name of African Vulture came out with her series that grounded videos really blew up. She titled it Caillou Calls His Baby Sister Stupid / Grounded. This was the first ever Caillou Gets Grounded video, and it certainly wouldn't be the last. The GoAnimate community loved watching Caillou getting grounded. It made sense, seeing that most of these users were children. Grounding Caillou was truly powerful, almost like a spiritual experience. It represented a new stage of life. It was a metamorphosis. Or maybe I'm just reading too far into this. Apparently grounded videos weren't thrilling enough. People wanted something more intense, so to fulfill this desire, they created Punishment Day videos. These videos tend to use Caillou and his family as characters, but they could use anyone. This is how your average Punishment Day plays out. Caillou's parents tell Caillou that today will be Punishment Day. They proceed to inflict dozens of punishments on Caillou until they execute the final punishment, which is ending his life. There's no restrictions as to what the punishment can be. It could include getting a bad haircut, being hit by a car, castration, spanking, being forced to go to the hood and yell racial slurs, walking on Lego bricks with no shoes, public humiliation, or even crucifixion. It's all up to the user's imagination. These videos have stirred up a lot of controversy due to their edgy nature. Some of the punishments can be far worse than what was listed, and with Caillou only being 4 years old, the community sees this as child abuse. Several animators have had to personally apologize for videos that they've made due to public backlash. I think a lot of them just get carried away and they truly don't have any bad intentions. However, there have been some problematic users that are known to cause issues, so much so that some of the controversy has actually gone mainstream. These are the bad users of GoAnimate. African Vulture is likely the most problematic user in the GoAnimate community. She was the first GoAnimator to reach 100,000 subscribers and receive a silver play button from YouTube. As mentioned before, she was also the creator of the Caillou Gets Grounded series. She pretty much single-handedly made Caillou the mascot of GoAnimate. She's one of the oldest known GoAnimators, being 40 years old as of 2024. This is surprising seeing how she interacts with other users. In 2015, she feuded with a user named Geo. After Geo told African Vulture to be more original with her content, she sent her fans to harass Geo with hateful comments. Some of the comments went a bit too far, telling Geo that they would murder his family. She had another feud with a user named Ray Cynical. When a former friend of Ray's quit GoAnimate, African Vulture and her fans publicly celebrated. Ray spoke out against this behavior, saying that she was acting immature. Of course, African Vulture didn't like this. She sent her fans to mass dislike Ray's videos and leave negative comments. They began to claim that Ray was a pedophile, which was not true. This led to Ray abandoning his YouTube channel and leaving GoAnimate until African Vulture eventually apologized to Ray, allowing him to come back to YouTube. The most mainstream a GoAnimate feud ever went was when African Vulture feuded with Pyrocynical in 2016. Pyrocynical posted a video titled "The Worst YouTube Animation," in which he reviewed one of African Vulture's Caillou Gets Grounded videos. He made fun of the animation, saying that the whole thing looked like it was animated by a 10-year-old kid. Once again, African Vulture took this very personally. She gave the video a copyright strike, and 2 hours after it was posted, it was taken down. She received backlash for this because Pyrocynical wasn't doing anything wrong, so she later retracted the copyright claim. Pyro then re-uploaded the video, and African Vulture couldn't do anything but sit there and watch. Sean Sullivan started making videos in 2018. Being inspired by African Vulture, he would make Grounded and Punishment Day videos, but these were short-lived as he began to think that Grounded videos were overdone. Controversy arose in November of 2022. Sean was exposed for making videos featuring children's TV show characters engaging in sexual activities. People were quick to turn against him and accuse him of pedophilia. This led him to lose any sort of fan base he once had. He posted an apology video and admitted his wrongdoings, also making the announcement that he would be leaving YouTube and GoAnimate forever. Joey Nigro is another GoAnimator who makes grounded videos. He's a big target for trolls as he's easy to get a response from. In June of 2022, Joey posted a picture in a popular GoAnimate Discord server called GoAnimate City. The picture was a character from the show Super Y. He was shirtless and had abs drawn on him. Since the character is underage, he was immediately banned from the server, and word got out that Joey was a pedophile. 2 months later, a group of users decided to pull off a sting operation to set Joey up. They made a Discord account named Cutie Animation and pretended to be a 14-year-old girl. After messaging Joey for a while, they made sure he knew they were 14 and then asked him if he still wanted to date. He said yes. They continued to press him, and eventually they got a picture of him with no shirt on. This whole ordeal paired with the Super Y drama ruined Joey's image, and nowadays the community often refers to him as GoAnimate's biggest predator. Okay, so there's something I'd like to address regarding these users. The mistake that people make is thinking that those within the GoAnimate community are as capable as your average person. The thing is, they are not. They are children and mentally challenged adults. That was what the audience was when GoAnimate began, and that's what the audience is now. When I watch a YouTube video talking about the GoAnimate community, I'm always surprised to see how seriously people take these users. These are Go kids. Why would you expect them to be virtuous? Some of these users literally cannot understand that what they're doing might be wrong. And I mean they're mentally incapable of it. It's clear to me that this is the case when they publicly display their alleged perversions. True predators don't do this. True predators lurk in the dark because they know that what they're doing is wrong. So am I defending people like Joey Nigro? Yes, I am, because it's not his fault he is the way he is. Joey, along with dozens of other users, have been wrongfully slandered because they do not know any better. I'd like to say this once again. It is not fully grown adults who have jobs, families, or obligations that use GoAnimate. It is children or adults with mental disabilities. So stop getting all riled up because Caillou was abused and he's only 4 years old. You straight up look just as foolish as GoAnimators themselves. The GoAnimate community grew increasingly toxic with each day that passed. GoAnimate was now known for grounded videos and Caillou. Obviously, this was not the image that Alvin Hung wanted when he created the platform. In 2015, GoAnimate would migrate from Adobe Flash to HTML5. The older cartoonish themes like Cartoon Classics and Comedy World were retired due to their incompatibility with HTML5. It was discovered that these features could still be accessed through GoAnimate for Schools, which allowed users to continue to create classic GoAnimate videos. However, this marked the beginning of the shift away from the GoAnimate brand. As features were slowly removed from the website, rumors spread that GoAnimate would shut down for good, and people were starting to get angry. The last straw was when GoAnimate was renamed to Vion in 2018. The writing was on the wall. It was clear that it was all coming to an end. Some users were pissed off, for sure. They didn't want to see GoAnimate go. They started to blame Alvin Hung for the decisions he was making as CEO. Users would often depict Alvin as Satan in their videos, and they'd blame him for ruining the site. Alvin would end up being a victim of his own creation, having users make Grounded and Punishment Day videos out of him. Two new alphabet groups would form from this. AAHC, the Anti-Alvin Hung Club, who of course opposed Alvin and made grounded videos out of him, and TGYS, the GoAnimate YouTuber squad, who defended Alvin for his decisions. They actually went as far as saying that Alvin was poor and he needed money. The reality is, GoAnimate had to move away from Flash anyway due to it being shut down in December of 2020. It was also the perfect opportunity for Alvin to rebrand and focus on appealing to businesses rather than children. In December of 2019, the legacy video maker was officially retired, which would bring an end to GoAnimate for good. Whoa, that's not the end of GoAnimate. It wouldn't be that easy to stop these guys. After the legacy video maker was shut down, a user named Benson would begin working on Rapper Offline, a recreation of the original GoAnimate website. It didn't take long to get it up and running, and on April 18th, 2020, Rapper Offline version 1.0.0 was released. The community was ecstatic. They were no longer controlled by corporate CEOs like Alvin Hung. The power to create GoAnimate videos had finally been restored, and users were free to ground again. Thanks for watching.